And witness the millionaire consciousness that is happening between you and the Thornton thing. Did you plan the banquet for those that would begin to come from different parts to witness the marriage of the Thornton thing? See, the secret of this power is in the focus, and that is why we'll begin to understand ritual, where we can begin to bring things to the power of focus to a point in time where there is no separation between the thought and the thing. Prophet Cynthia, what you want to say?
Yes, you know, Master Prophet, as I was looking at this heading, your power is in the focus, I thought about a laser. Because a laser basically takes light, which normally is spread out, but when you begin to focus it, it changes and it gives it power. They do surgery, which is just light, but it's focused and it's brought to a point. And you can see the difference of power when you see light out in the open, warming you sunlight, but when you take that same light and focus it to a point, all of a sudden now it has the power even to cut. You can do surgery with it. So that's the difference of focus.
Great. Prophet Fitzroy, what you want to say?
And Master Prophet, would it be fair to call that point the focal point?
Almost definitely. Because see, all ritual has a focal point. All prayer has a focal point. All miracles has a focal point. Whether it was the widow, whether it was the woman with the issue of blood, who was sick for 12 long years, who had a focal point on her disease until she spent all the money she had with all the physicians. She gave the physicians a BMW, she gave the physicians a Bentley, she gave them some houses, she gave the physicians all of her money. She spent all her living. She had no more money to focus on that disease. So she went to the one, she was stuck, she was in a rut. So now she begins to focus on Jesus' garment. She said, I'm making that now my new focal point. That's going to be my new point of contact. Come on here. And she says, if I can but just touch the hem of his garment, I shall be what? Made whole. We all know the scripture. When she touched, Jesus said, who touched me? Now, you would like to believe Jesus healed her, but I would have to tell you that's the wrong answer. He did not heal her. Jesus said to the woman, after he identified, now there was many people touching him, but there was someone that drew virtue out. Because she realized what she was doing, Jesus felt what she did. She made a withdrawal really without Jesus' permission. And Jesus turned around and said to her, woman, thy faith has made you whole. What was her faith? I'm going to give you this mystery because it's been hid from you for 2,000 years. Her faith was her ability to focus on a point. Jesus. Woo, I tell you, this is something else. I don't know why y'all are not kicking out window panes right now.
So, Master Prophet.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say then that faith is just your ability to focus?
That's all it is. Thy faith has made you whole. All the woman did would say, if I could but touch the hem of his garment, I shall be made. You become made whatever your point of focus is.
Okay. So what this woman did, she actually focused and put all of her energy on that one intention. It wasn't scattered. Her emotion, everything about her became that one point, and that one point was to touch the hem of Jesus' garment.
Exactly.
Whoa.
A matter of fact, there was 4 men that was on the roof that undid the roof to let the man that was sick down. The Bible lets us know that Jesus saw their faith. Now, you want to know what he saw? He saw their focal point. I know y'all ain't going to be ready for this, because this is not a real religion. You know, we have been delivered from religion here at Zoe, and this is why that's just why we kind of encourage people to kind of stay home and kind of watch us, because this way you won't get a chance to make faces and all this kind of stuff. Because this is not really what they're teaching you in church today, because most Christians are still thumb-sucking Christians. They're still babes. But when you become fully aware, and you know why I'm preaching this thing early today? Because I know religious folks is in a building.
Jesus.
Oh, come on here. Come on, y'all know this. Religious folks are in a building. Some of them are just now shaking hands, some standing in the front hoping to see their preacher. They haven't got to their computer yet, so that's why we don't have too much drama going on in the chat room. Religious folks are in a building right now.
Jesus.
Oh, come on here. So we begin to understand that the real power is in the focus. Now, I hope y'all are ready for some more. Yeah, see, and as a, what you want to say, Prophet Fitzroy?
Master Prophet, it says at the point of focus, the focal point, that's really the creative point.
Yes, it's the yes. Go ahead, Prophet Deborah.
Because you can create in that realm, because you done pulled all your energy into the oneness of that purpose, of that thing that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. That's why whether you sow a seed today for $1,000 and get a lock. What is this lock? This lock is a focal point. You know, I looked at my locks the other day, Prof. I think I accidentally cut one there. You see that? You see that? I'm going to sit there. It's two of them. I'm trying to see if there was a way I could attach it. I'm going to ask some of you women for your beauty secret. There's a way that I could sew that back on, Prophet Deborah.
Most definitely.
Go get your needle and thread. Let me get this piece. Let me get this piece here corrected. But what we're saying is that when you got a lock of the Master Prophet and you sowed $1,000 seed, it's a focal point. It's a point of contact. Somewhere in your psyche. If you say, I don't like that word psyche, Bishop. It sounds too much like psychic. It's New Age, okay? Somewhere in your spirit, it has gotten into your consciousness. I don't like that word consciousness, Master Prophet. That's too New Age. Okay, somewhere in your mind. Mind is too New Age. Yeah, we're scared of the word mind. Okay, somewhere in your thoughts, in your thinking, it has already resonated that I have made a point of contact with the Master Prophet. I have part of his mind. Now that's your faith. Anybody else touch the lock won't get any miracle until that becomes their focal point as well. That's why one person can sit in church and says, this man has changed my life. Another person says, I got nothing out of it. Why? One was focused, the other wasn't. The same lesson went forth, the same prophetic utterance went forth, the same attention was given to both, but one made a withdrawal. Like the woman with the issue of blood, she made a withdrawal. There was many people that touched Jesus that day, went home sick, never did get their healing because they didn't have the intelligence to focus. Touch your neighbor and say, do you have the intelligence to focus? Whew. Okay, Prophet Scott, let's read the next thought. I got about 14 more slides to go.
We have to provide within ourselves a mental and spiritual likeness for the thing desired.
Okay, we have to provide within ourselves the mental and spiritual likeness. What is the thing that you desire? You got to have the mental as well as the spiritual likeness. First of all, you got to like it mentally and got to feel as though you deserve it spiritually. Read on.
Whatever is imagined is brought forth from the mind into manifestation.
Wow.